The following contest scheduled for one fall is a fatal four-way match and is for the RAW Intercontinental Championship. Making his way to the ring from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing 295 pounds, Brock Lesnar. Introducing the challengers. Untitled Title, weighing 231 pounds, The Miz. San Diego, California, weighing 175 pounds, Rey Mysterio. And their opponent, from New York City, weighing 297 pounds, John Bradshaw Layfield.
Four-men face-off for the RAW Intercontinental Championship here in our main event. This is a fatal four-way matchup in which The Miz, Brock Lesnar, JBL, and Rey Mysterio are facing off for Intercontinental Gold as we get a huge jawbreaker from JBL to Rey Mysterio as we have the pairings of the early goings of this match. Normally the pairings will go on for quite some time as we have Miz and Brock Lesnar fighting against each other, and we have JBL and Rey Mysterio fighting against each other. Now, JBL putting Rey Mysterio into a tree of woe here. You would think JBL would go against The Miz or try and target the Miz in the early goings of the match, as he was the man who eliminated him from the Royal Rumble early. He has already fought the Miz once, last week's Raw, in which he was able to beat the Miz. So they have a slight history between the two of them. As we get a big elbow drop from JBL. And now JBL going to grab Rey Mysterio some more and smack the back of his head, push him away. Rey Mysterio did quite well before being eliminated by Mankind. He eliminated Brodus Clay from the Royal Rumble at the initial Raw event. As we see JBL now going out to the outside and stripping the table, taking the monitors out, taking the top protective cover off of our announce table, going to perhaps look for someone to perhaps put someone through that table throughout this match. As we see a giant move by Miz lifting up that big man, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar with a huge amount of MMA experience. As he lifts, he gets slammed against the mat. Brock Lesnar was not able to continue competing in MMA due to a gastrointestinal problem, and so he has come back to wrestling part-time in order to manage his gastrointestinal problem without huge amount of damage sustained like you get in MMA fights in UFC. As Brock Lesnar ties up against the Miz, and Miz able to get the upper hand there. Not quite as Brock Lesnar counters, and now grabs Miz into a nice gutbuster as Rey Mysterio goes for a slight submission maneuver here. Both of these guys want to interrupt that, make sure JBL doesn't tap. It could be colluding and JBL could tap immediately, and then Rey Mysterio would have the Intercontinental Championship. Now we get a giant clothesline from JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. He knows a bit about clotheslines as he gets a reverse Hurricane Rana, slamming his head against the back as Rey Mysterio plays to the crowd with that huge roar. Now the Miz did quite well. One of the better men to fight, but he was not able to beat JBL last week, as we get a huge drop from Rey Mysterio on the outside. A huge springboard slamming JBL into that steel post, and we get him to slam that face of JBL against the mat as Miz and Brock Lesnar are fighting on the outside now. They are the ones that brought those steel steps into this ring. Those hazardous steel steps as JBL rolls to the outside now. Going to get away from the steel steps and try and get away from Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio with a huge combination, as now with this wide shot you can see the Intercontinental Championship over in the corner there. As you see Rey Mysterio slowly bringing JBL to that table that he himself cleared. And now Rey Mysterio picking up JBL off of that table. As we see Brock Lesnar get whipped into the match, and I just heard someone go through the table. I wish our cameraman caught that. I'm not quite sure who was put through that table. It looks like it was JBL. I'm not sure how exactly, but our table has now been destroyed as we get a pin from Miz here. 1, 2, 3. No, Brock Lesnar able to kick out, and now Brock on the pin onto Miz and got interrupted by JBL. JBL now goes back to Rey Mysterio. Miz almost able to steal away this matchup and steal away that title. Brock Lesnar was not able to win the title last week, but not through entire fault of his own. He was ambushed by Triple H at the beginning of that matchup. We get a series of punches to the head by Miz. Miz fighting against Brock Lesnar. Going to grab the head of Brock Lesnar. Perhaps going to try and use those steel steps. I'm not sure how they use steel steps on the outside, but they did throw them into the ring. I know that much. As we get a nice bit of damage onto the arm of Rey Mysterio from JBL as he goes forward again. And we get a nice side suplex, slamming the head of Miz against that steel steps. He must be knocked out here. Putting insult to injury, punching the face of Miz. He just slammed all of his body weight against that unruly steel steps. Oh my God. Brock Lesnar was absolutely ruthless. He eliminated 4 people from the Royal Rumble as we get a pin. 1, 2, 3. No, Miz countering. 1, 2, 3. Brock pinning. 1, 2, 3. Rey Mysterio finally interrupting that series of roll-ups as Rey Mysterio almost gets picked. JBL spins him around. Miz now whipping into a nice combination into that bulldog there. Brock Lesnar eliminated The Undertaker, David Otunga, who we saw earlier tonight, Sin Cara, and Primo from the Royal Rumble. As we get a nice submission maneuver by Brock Lesnar to the Miz, grabbing at the back of Miz. As we get a double move here, slightly different variations from the two men, as JBL pulls Rey Mysterio into the middle of the ring. Brock Lesnar punching Miz to the outside of the ring now, going to go out and fight. As we get a nice kick from Rey Mysterio to JBL, a series of counters between Brock Lesnar and Miz on the outside here. Those dangerous steel steps in the middle here. He could go frontwards, but he was nice to Rey Mysterio and went and suplexed him to the back. As now he picks up Rey Mysterio, calls for a big move here as he goes for a pin. He goes for that suplex into pinning combination he does so often for his finisher, as we get Brock Lesnar pick up Miz for that huge side backbreaker on the outside here. As we get Brock Lesnar to now whip Miz into the middle of the ring, a series of kicks to the ankles by Rey Mysterio. You don't have to be tall to kick the ankles, and that's what he's going to be using in this matchup, as we get Miz to push away Brock Lesnar and roll out to the outside. Brock Lesnar now rolling out to the outside himself. And now Brock Lesnar and Miz fighting on the outside. Brock getting whipped into that barricade. The people slightly moving away. A headbutt from Miz to down Brock Lesnar, as we still have JBL and Rey Mysterio fighting in the corner. As Brock Lesnar gets whipped into that steel cage, we get a nice punch from JBL to get Rey Mysterio on the mat. Only one count. Rey Mysterio has enough energy in him. All of these men, former world champions, in this matchup, looking for the Intercontinental title. As we see Brock Lesnar pulling away the Miz. As we see a pin now from Brock Lesnar. Miz able to kick out quite quickly. As we got a spinning senton from Rey Mysterio. Brock Lesnar able to grab the face of Miz out of that corner. Rey Mysterio with that elbow to the back. JBL, Brock looking for a pin onto Miz now. Only one count. Rey Mysterio now grabbing onto Brock Lesnar, and JBL changing onto Miz. The matchup that probably should have been going on from the beginning between Miz and JBL. They've fought several times now, but Miz now going back to Brock Lesnar and JBL going back to Rey Mysterio. They're very happy with their matchups here, as we get a nice elbow to the face, and I believe Rey Mysterio is busted open behind that mask. You can see the blood spurting down onto the mat, as we see JBL getting the upper hand against Rey Mysterio, and Miz getting the upper hand against Brock Lesnar, cutting that boot to the neck, as JBL goes for a pin on Rey Mysterio, only a one count onto him. Miz calling for a big move here, going to try and end this match, but Brock Lesnar able to counter as the one-legged Boston Crab from Rey Mysterio to Bradshaw Layfield. He's able to turn over as Brock Lesnar sends Miz flying into that steel steps. Brock Lesnar going to look for an F5 here. Perhaps. He grabs Miz up. He's going to spin him around and slams him straight down to the mat. Might want to finish this match now. Hopefully JBL and Mysterio will be preoccupied. 1, 2. Mysterio able to turn around quick enough and interrupt that count, as Miz was definitely going to get passed out after going through that F5, as we get a huge kick from JBL out of the corner. And we get Brock Lesnar with a huge move, just using all of his strength to drag Miz into the middle of that ring. And now calling Miz up once more for another big move. Going to go for another F5, slamming him straight into the mat. And he's busted open Miz, and Miz must be destroyed. And he rolls out to the outside. JBL able to pin Mysterio, but Mysterio able to kick out. Miz actually tried to go for a chair there from underneath the ring. He's getting desperate. He's been through 2 F5s. He must be getting woozy. There's no disqualifications in a single fall fatal 4-way, as disqualifying one person would give no one a win. As we see JBL and Rey Mysterio fight each other, it is just encouraged not to use too much in a matchup like this. And you see Elias press from Rey Mysterio onto JBL as he goes for a pin now. 1, 2, only a 1 count. JBL has enough energy left in him still as Brock Lesnar grabs Miz and goes for a giant pin into picking him up once more and gonna go for another powerbomb. And now picking him up once again and powerbomb him again. 3 powerbombs to Miz. Mysterio's laid out. 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar is the Intercontinental Champion.